Hello.
How you doing?
All right. How are you?
I'm all right. That's a nice little setup you got there by the looks of it.
Yeah, I put mine down the same way as you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
better.
yes. I'm in my studio, which is well, it's sort of Dolby Atmos ready. Well, it's where I can mix for Dolby Atmos as well. So that's why I've got so many speakers.
I've never really experienced like proper Dolby Atmos yet, but I know that you're releasing a lot of songs in Dolby Atmos. What is it that you like about it?
Well, it is very niche. I think it is just a different world. I don't think of it as like, I think stereo and Dolby completely different paradigms. But it's just the way that you can basically imagine putting your head right in the middle of the song and everything to be, around you. So when you're mixing in stereo, it's quite a challenge sometimes to make everything breathe. And when you take it out into the 360, it's just really nice. Yeah.
Next time I'm in the UK, I'm going to pop in.
Yeah, swing by. I'll give you an Atmos demo.
Yeah, I would love to experience it. When you put these songs out in Dolby Atmos and people haven't got the right setups to listen to it, is that a problem or?
It's really really challenging because I mean the thing about Dolby Atmos, as opposed to 5.1, where 5.1 is like you get your enthusiasts, but you only need to have 5 speakers, all around, so it's not so bad. But Dolby Atmos can work in anything from like a big cinema theater with 100 speakers to someone with just like a sound bar, and I think it does something like it projects it off the ceiling to give that kind of the sort of illusion of having speakers in your ceiling, because most people aren't going to put speakers in their ceiling at home. They're just not going to do it. Yeah, it is a challenge, and the biggest challenge is that they're trying to do this thing called binaural on headphones. So Apple Music and Amazon and Tidal, they do this kind of phasey thing that gives you the impression that you're listening in 360. But the quality, it varies so much depending on what headphones you've got, what kind of ear you've got. But there's so many variables. And if people are used to stereo, and with Apple, it defaults to spatial audio. And so people are going, oh, this sounds a bit weird if you're not used to it, and they're going, oh, what's happened to the mix? And so it's really challenging. And so to make it work for speakers and for that spatial audio through headphones, it's hard work.
But you still love it and you still want to make the effort.
Yeah, it's good fun. It is good fun. Yeah, but it is a bit niche.
Well, that's okay. I think your sound, the Pineapple Thief sound in that kind of environment, I would imagine is pretty special if you have the right setup. So I would love to hear it like that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the album. I read that you worked on this for 3 years.
Yeah.
So can you like sum up that 3 years, why it took so long, and what happens at each point during the 3 years?
Yeah, we kind of came at it in sort of like 2 or 3 big chunks of work. We started it right in the middle of the lockdown, the pandemic. So Europe was completely locked down, and I remember coming into the studio, because studio I'm in now is in the bottom of my garden, so I'm quite lucky. And even in a small town like Yeovil, where I live, a small town in the southwest of England, the town has a hum, it has a rumble when it's working. And it was gone because everyone was locked in. Nobody was doing anything. And the sky was just so blue with no vapor trails in the sky. And it just made me, obviously like everybody, it was such an extraordinary time that I just kind of thought, wow, how delicate this planet and the humanity is, that this could, that almost overnight, humanity comes to a standstill. So it's great songwriting material. And I kind of, so that kind of led to the whole concept of the record, which is, well, the title gives it away. It leads to this. I kind of wish there was a question mark now, because I don't want it, even though it's got quite a dystopian dark cover, the message is it doesn't have to lead to this. We are in control of our, humanity is in control, and I have a lot of faith in human kindness. So yeah, I am waffling on a bit, but that started it. And so we were writing in lockdown. Gavin's got studio, so it's quite easy for us to share, even though we were locked away. We could still make music. And then so then we had the Porcupine Tree reunion, So Gavin was off with that, and that's when I worked on my solo record. But that meant that the Pineapple Thief album kind of stopped. And then I think it was the beginning of last year, 2023, that it started again. I started working with Gavin again, and he had the idea of actually, instead of doing this remote thing, which is nice, and which is what so many bands do. They have, Gavin will send me a part or a drum idea or something like that, and I download it and I go, yeah, it's nice. Go and have a lie down, twiddle my fingers, think about it, and maybe a week later I'll send him what I've done. And he says, what you need to do is actually come up to my place and we'll actually write together, old school style. And so I thought, yeah, okay, let's do that. And I remember driving up there thinking, oh my God, this is terrifying, because what if it just doesn't work? It'll be the longest week of my life. But luckily, it went really well. And so a lot of the album just came together from those writing sessions that I had in the same room as Gavin. So that was we've never ever done it before, and so it was very productive. And then the album just came. We kind of finished it sort of mid 2023 and delivered it, and then you got all the vinyl weight, so that's why you got to deliver so early. So yeah, in a very long waffly way, that's why it took 3 years.
You make it sound quite easy in the end there. After the 3 years, that it seems to come together quite easy for you. But did you have like lyrics that were like building up over time, and then you focus on the music after that?
Yeah, I think the lyrics. So lyrics they're always the hardest part for me, especially as a front man. If you got to sing these words, and they've got to really mean something. They've got to be absolutely perfect. And it can take a long time. Even when you listen to like choruses and things, you think, well, that's so simple. Surely it's not that difficult. But it is difficult to get it just right, or as good as it could possibly be. So with the songs, I would usually have the key phrase, like put it right. I knew that, and that when I was writing, all that's left, it leads to this. They were all you had the key phrase, and I knew what the song was going to be about. But getting all the words right, that would come over time. And yeah, I think that was probably what took the longest to get exactly right.
Do you consider yourself a perfectionist?
Yeah, yes. And I think because there's 4 of us in the band that are working together, then we enforce that perfection is enforced. So even if I would be like, oh, that's good enough. I've had enough of trying to play that guitar part. Gavin would say, oh, Bruce, that guitar part, can you just give it another go? And I'm like, oh right then, yeah, okay. So that kind of dynamic forces you to just to sort of, well, you can't go into some kind of lazy zone. You've got to be at the top of your game, because I think everybody was just intent on making it as good as possible, and that just meant that you had to work at it sometimes.
Yeah. So is it easy to know when it's done? Like, are you good at signing off on it?
Yeah, I think it helps that there's 4 of us. But I think I was talking to Gavin about this morning, actually, about like, when do you know if it's done? Especially when you've got the luxury of this. I'm set the luxury of being full time as well. That's just I can't understate how lucky I am to be a full-time musician, a full-time songwriter. Something I never dreamed could be possible. But it does mean that you got way too much time, in a way, to do it. I kind of sometimes I look back on this, the 70s and 80s, where you used to get these record deals, and the record label will say, right, you could put you in a studio for 6 weeks, you're going to finish the album, sometimes write the album, record the album, I want 2 hit singles, and that's it, and then it's done in that 6 weeks. The modern way of working is that you've got as long as you want, as long as it takes. And I think the answer to your question is that the record label and our booking agent, that there is a date where it had to be finished. Otherwise, the tour would be, ruined, because the album would come out too late. And so there is always a final day that you have to deliver.
But actually, there isn't, because some artists have uploaded their albums to streaming services and then tweaked them afterwards and then re-uploaded a new version.
Have they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise that. Yeah. Tempting, isn't it? Yeah, when do you stop? In that case, yeah, don't. I wish you hadn't told me that, because I think, oh, you know what?
When do you start thinking about where the songs will sit on the album, like track list, I guess?
I think when you're writing, you always have an idea of the kind of, the kind of balance that the album's got. So you know that you've got the softer, sort of the put it right kind of set songs. Now It's Yours is it's half a ballad, half a rock song. So you kind of knew that you had those softer moments. And I think when we play live, it's really important for me that there's a journey, that there's a lot of light and shade, that it's and the same applies for putting an album together. But it wasn't until the end actually that because we had about 65 minutes of music, but in the end we chose together 8 songs that just came in at 40 minutes, because it just felt like that was the right journey. And the other songs, when we put them in, it's not that it was wrong, but it kind of just felt like it didn't need them to be in there. So it's a difficult thing to do. The final sort of compiling of the album and it's quite pressured, because once you've done it and once you've delivered it, that's it. So yeah, we also conscious that 40 minutes, a lot of people go, oh, 40 minutes, that's really short, isn't it? Because it's kind of gone cyclical. You got the 70s where everything was 40 minutes because of vinyl. Then CDs came out and everyone was like, yeah, let's have 74 minutes, fill up the whole thing. And now we've kind of gone back full circle, because vinyl is so important. And the record label doesn't like doing double vinyls because they're so expensive. It just prices people out. And so there is actually a business reason to keep it sort of in that 40 to 45 minute length as well.
But you do have some fancy vinyl coming out.
Yeah, we got that's a really good thing about the record labels. They love to do fancy physical product that people want to buy. So it's obviously I've got it here. So this vinyl, and this one, this was a translucent green. So it's great. We've got black, green, red, and cream. And the brilliant thing about modern vinyl is it's all 180 grams now, so it's all really good stuff.
Which song that people haven't heard yet are you most excited for them to hear?
Because we had a rehearsal the other week and played all the new album and just enjoyed all of them. I think the one that I think is most surprising is probably Rubicon for me. I just think that's one that I wrote together with Gavin. It's quite a unique song. Lyrically, it's quite a departure for me, because it's actually based on, it's actually was based on Roman history, Rubicon and Julius Caesar. And so it was obviously it's not a song about the Romans. It's about someone's, selfish ambition and how it would destroy the Roman Republic and how it applies today, so to everything. So, but yeah, that's one, I think. If there's one song I'm looking forward to people hearing, it's that one.
So you got a few dates coming up, mainly in Europe, I think, at the moment.
Yeah. So yes, I think end of February we head out to Europe. We are trying to organize a North American tour. So we're just hoping that we can make the numbers work, because it's just so expensive for an English band to get to the States and to get the visa. Well, actually, it's all right, Canada. Canada's easy, but USA, they make it difficult. But yeah, I'd love Montreal and Quebec. Is one of the best places for us to go. It's just wonderful. So we've got to come back.
Yeah, nice. Well, I hope it happens at some point this year.
Yeah, thanks.
But it's a fantastic album. Congratulations on it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And, I just wish you every luck with all that's coming up. And,
thank you.
And thank you very much for your time talking to me.
No problem. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Bruce.
All right. Cheers. See you soon.
We fall into this ocean floor without a single movement more. You're falling with me.